If you're a CEO, founder, or operator of a business looking to drive actual business value with AI, you're in the right place. This is AI Operator, the show for people who are done with all the hype and the demos and done with AI content that sounds clever but actually changes nothing. Here on this show, we focus on practical use cases and real workflows and how to operationalize AI inside your business to save time, improve output, and drive some ROIs. That's what we're all about. It's less geekery, less hype, and more about execution. So let's get into it. Now, the big announcement that's come out this week is that Claude is now able to run scheduled tasks. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you were using Claude to analyze spreadsheets, for example, and you wanted to deliver some insights, let's say your business delivers stuff in a major metropolitan area, you've got a heap of data coming out the previous day or overnight that says this driver did this many deliveries in this amount of time, and each customer start and finish time, and how many miles they drove, and how much diesel they burned. You've got a huge amount of data there. So what AI is really good at for us business owners is analyzing data. So it's really good at picking up patterns in the data that we might be able to detect, but it would take us an hour or two of sitting in front of a spreadsheet and analyzing line by line and looking for patterns in the data. AI can do that in seconds. So the Claude scheduled tasks are super important because what we're going to be able to do is feed in data that comes in regularly and have it deliver insights. And there's lots more that you can do with scheduled tasks, but it's a pretty good example. If you've found a way to use Claude to run scheduled tasks and it's delivering real business value for you, make sure you reach out to me. I'm on X at Michael Pullman, or you can just send an email to pod.com. Now, I'm doing this episode from my studio, which is unfinished, as you can see behind me, an unpainted wall. But this stuff's too important not to get out to you. And it's a little echoey because we've got a concrete floor that I've got carpet coming in, but it's not here yet. So this stuff's too important. It's moving too fast. We have to use AI to deliver real business value. So that's why I'm doing this in a slightly janky way, but you just gotta start, right? So what we're looking for here is, in our businesses, is a place where a person's generating a report. Like before a meeting, a great example, my wife worked for a company where she would generate a report before a meeting every day, and it was every week, once a week, and it was the same report every time using the same data from the same source. So that's just crying out to be automated. So we don't have to do that kind of thing anymore. AI can just do that for us. And next episode, I'm going to show you how to actually set up a scheduled task in Claude and run it using some business data. So let's have a look at that. Now, it's important to do this because the only skills that you need to do this are to design a solid prompt and to set it to run at a scheduled task, set it to run at a scheduled time. You can tweak the content as you go. You can tweak the task as you go, right? It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. What's important about that is only the tech forward companies are using this technology now. So the question is, for the people who aren't super tech forward, like a marketing agency, how long before your competitors start to use this technology and just pass you by because of the sheer volume of work that they're able to produce? That's the one that's scary for me, but also exciting. The businesses, if you're watching this podcast, you are a business owner who's interested in or knows they have to implement AI. And if you're doing that, you're going to get a leg up on your competitors. If you're conscious of it, you're the one who's going to get a massive leg up on your competitors. So they're saying online now that AI can help. In engineering, it's 10 times, but in general life, in general business roles, AI can generate 3 times the amount of output. So every employee becomes 3 times more productive. Now, what does that mean for us as business owners? Well, It means we can do 3 times, each employee can do 3 times the amount of work. So we can triple our businesses, or we can do the same amount of work with 3 times less employees, with a third of the workforce. So that's something to consider as you progress down this path. Do you want to get bigger, faster, and pass by your competitors? Or do you want to reduce your headcount and do things more efficiently? Something to think about. It's more of a strategy question. I think a balance of the two is probably most prudent at the moment, where we balance it, we empower the employees with AI, and honestly, we're going to pick the employees who know AI and understand AI and know how to use it. And then the people who refuse, they're not going to be productive. There's always going to be laggards on technology adoption curve. There's always going to be laggards, and they're the people who unfortunately aren't going to have jobs in the future. Well, at least in the short term. If you're an employee watching this, of course, you know you need to implement AI. You need to understand how AI works so that you can make yourself more efficient and invaluable at your job. But that's not what this podcast is all about. This is all about business owners driving real business value. So with that in mind, we need to talk about Burger King. So Burger King just implemented Patty. Patty's an AI that lives in the employee headsets. If you've been through the drive-through of a Burger King, you know the headsets that they wear. They've got a single boom, and then they've got lights on the side and a whole bunch of buttons. I've never worked in fast food, but I can imagine that it must be exhausting taking customer orders and talking to customers face-to-face and processing transactions. Interestingly, that's what AI is really good at. Multitasking and talking and taking orders. Burger King's implemented this Patty system, and it lives in the employee headsets. It's been marketed to everybody as a coaching tool to improve the customer experience at Burger King's. Now, I think we can all see that actually it's a coaching tool, sure, but employees are going to see it as workplace monitoring, right? As surveillance, which is pretty scary for them, but we've been doing workplace surveillance for years with security cameras and trend monitoring and monitoring people's desktops and checking their clicks and all that. It's not new. It's been happening. We're just using AI for it now. And I think the important thing for business owners, executives, and people who are building businesses is it's collecting a huge amount of training data. Now, the training data is very, very useful to us. If we can add, let's imagine we're collecting voice data from these employees. Let's put a set of smart glasses on them. And now we're collecting training data, video and audio. We're collecting gigabytes and gigabytes of data, which is going to be used in the future to train humanoid robots to do that job. Either humanoid robots to do that job or train an AI to plug into the systems to do that job. So you can imagine if an employee wears a headset and smart glasses and they're flipping burgers, you can see that's an immediate changeover. In Shenzhen in China, they've already got burger flipping robots. I think they experimented with burger flipping robots in the US, but I don't know if they were able to actually make that work yet, but it's not far away. And I read a quote today that said that it only takes 1 employee in 1,000 to volunteer for training the AI, and you've got all the data that you need to train either a robot or an AI system to do that job for you. So do that job in place of the employees. So now's the time, if you're a business owner, to start collecting data everywhere. The big takeaway, I think, would be to turn every business system into a data generating system that is suitable for an AI to ingest. What does that mean? The example that jumps to mind is a company that delivers bulky goods via truck. Imagine that you're a company that delivers bulky goods via truck. What you need to know is the driver's start time. You need to know the route, so GPS data from their route. You need to know the time when they get to a customer, the time that takes them to unload, the time that they leave the customer. Those sorts of insights are going to be super powerful because you're going to be able to see immediately in the data it takes longer to unload at this customer. Why is that? And then you can go to that customer and figure out what it is that means that we're taking longer to unload. In my business, in the flight school, what I would be interested in looking at is how long it takes a customer or how long it takes an instructor to run a lesson from start to finish. Handshake to handshake, we call it. So if a customer walks in and they have 15 minutes for coffee, and then they do a 15-minute briefing, and then they do a 15-minute pre-flight, and then they finally jump in the airplane, that's 45 minutes. Not wasted, but 45 minutes that could be used more efficiently. So fortunately for my business, we bill on handshake to handshake. So it's a good thing. The customer is incentivized to get as much value out of the instructor from handshake to handshake. But there's ways we can do it more efficiently. So that's the kind of data that I'm tracking, is what goes on between the handshake at the start and the handshake at the finish. And where is the time lost? Because we want to be maximally productive for our customers. So if you've got a good example of some data that you're collecting inside your business that you think could be useful, or you've got a way of collecting data that you think is unusual and should be shared, I really want to know about it. And the audience here really wants to know about it as well. Similarly, if you've got a challenge with collecting data, if you're not quite sure how to collect the data that's going to be useful for the AI to ingest and deliver insights to you, make sure you reach out to me. I'm on X at Michael Pullman, or just send an email, podcast@oneaipod.com. And you'll come straight to me. I read all the emails. Of course, I get all the DMs. So let me know. I'd be really interested to hear from you and hear about your challenges and see if we can solve them together on this pod. That's what it's all about. This podcast is for executives, business owners, and business builders, anybody who's building a business, to talk about how we should be implementing AI and what the differences are in the old model versus the new model, how we need to work fast to get ready for this coming AI revolution. And it's already happening. We need to get prepared for it. Thanks for watching. I'm Michael Pullman. Stay tuned. The next episode is going to be a live build of a scheduled task in Claude Code. So make sure you jump online for that one. Reach out to me at Michael Pullman on Twitter. Or it used to be called Twitter, now called X. And let's have a conversation. We're trying to build a community around this podcast. Cheers.